That's why she got it.
What is your American dream?
The American dream, if anybody works hard enough, they can do anything they want to do, right?
I want to see the American dream afforded to everybody, regardless of their race, sexual orientation, or anything.
I do feel like I have reached it, and it's very close to my personal mission in life, which is to write the stories of my comunidad and to use my voice and any success that I have to help lift up their voices and stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
My American dream is that everybody in this country has the same opportunities that I had. I feel very privileged in my life. I benefited so much from the abundance in this country, but I know that many people don't have the same access to these privileges that I do. And so my dream is that every American has the same access that I had.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 6th. I am joined at least 6 feet away, maybe less, by Jonathan. Wait, there we go.
There we go.
And
Hey
Vanessa,
boys.
virtual high five.
Virtual high
High five. How you all doing? How's you doing, Vanessa?
I'm great. The sky's coming down though, friends. Is Elsa hurricane? Is it coming up for us up here? What's going on?
No, Elsa is in Florida, but I heard rain in New York.
Well,
I'm not excited about that.
Yes.
Because I came with flip-flops.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hello. I got lost for a second, but now I'm back. Thank
All
you. Let's say hello to Squad. We started late today.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. Mavo Tom saying good evening, everybody. Elizabeth Francis, Squad up. Robert Jackson, Squad up. Everybody. Jessica Leamy, how are you? Niclisa Peach, also giving a virtual high five. That's very peachy of you. Share, stretching. With a very pertinent name, share, which is share. Share this with your friends and family on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
A very pertinent name there, share. And on YouTube, Denise Johnson, Squad up. Leslie Benoit, how are you? All right, let's get into our show, guys. Vanessa, Yo-Yo, why don't you take it away?
Absolutely. All right, Squad. Just like we just said, share. We need you guys to share this to everybody on all social media platforms because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad. We're going to be talking headlines, including the immigration news that Biden administration has formally announced its effort to return deported veterans and their immediate family members back to the United States.
I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
We like it.
That's huge. And it's Tuesday, Scott, so we will spill some celebrity tea with Brad and for sure catch up on the latest updates regarding Britney Spears' conservatorship.
That poor woman.
Gosh, yeah.
You know, it blows my mind that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Poor woman. And of course, you could always call Spar and Bernstein. The telephone number is scrolling at the bottom. When you're calling Spar and Bernstein, you can call to speak to the secretary and make an appointment to speak with me personally on a one-on-one consultation. You can also call right now, this very moment, 1-800-529-5465, the same exact telephone number. And you can be on our show because we have open lines right now. You can ask me your immigration question at this very moment. If you call 1-800-529-5465. And later in the show, we are going to get a taste of Gullah Geechee cuisine.
Yes.
I like that too.
Woo!
I like that too. Gullah Geechee cuisine.
That looks good already.
Gullah Geechee. You know, some people say potato, some people say potato.
Yeah.
Gullah Geechee. My apologies. Cuisine and chef and cookbook author Charlotte Ascue Jenkins. 4th of July family barbecue in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Hey.
All right.
Nice.
It's always sunny in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Always sunny there.
Really?
Yeah, they don't get Elsa. It's always sunny there. All right, you'll see.
All right.
But right now, let's do some schmoozing.
Yes.
Schmoozing.
Don't sound like me.
I know, I did sound like you for a second. All right, so I mean, I only have, one or two things to schmooze about today. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, look at these cards. All right, so most importantly, which was really, really amazing news, because we have featured so many deported veterans on our show. Probably that subject, in terms of immigration, we've covered so often. It was such a travesty to see veterans who have served our country honorably, went to war to protect what we would believe would be our liberties and freedom, whether you believe it was a just war or not, but certainly they were going to war to protect the United States of America, and then they get deported.
Crazy.
So on Friday, the Biden administration unveiled its plan to bring back hundreds, maybe even thousands of deported veterans and their immediate family members back to the United States, saying that their deportation and their removal, and I'm quoting Joe Biden, failed to live up to our highest values. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas ordered his department's immigration agencies to immediately take steps to ensure that military families may return to the United States. Mayorkas said in a statement on Friday, the Department of Homeland Security recognizes the profound commitment and sacrifice that service members and their families have made to the United States of America. We are committed to bringing back military service members, veterans, their immediate family members who are unjustly removed, and ensuring they receive the benefits to which they may be entitled. Now, President Biden has promised on the campaign trail to direct the Department of Homeland Security during his first 100 days in office to stop targeting veterans and their families for deportation, a process that Donald Trump and his administration was continuing throughout their entire 4-year administration. Now, veterans advocates have expressed concern that few veterans or their relatives have returned, while many more are in deportation. In a memo Friday, the heads of Department of Homeland Security's immigration agency says they are going to review all of the policies to welcome, to remain in, or return to the United States of America. Nice. Officials said they're going to work with the Veterans Affairs, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Defense. The Department of Homeland Security is going to establish a military resource center, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, although they've been deporting veterans for decades, including when Biden was actually vice president with Obama president, but in a 2019 Government Accountability Office report found that the precise number of deportees is completely unclear. Now, typically, veterans were deported for crimes they committed after coming back from military service, and many of them after suffering post-traumatic stress disorder after returning from combat. We had at least half a dozen deported veterans on our show who joined the military, came to the United States at young ages, had green cards, The military never told them to become citizens. They assumed they were citizens. They come back from war, Afghanistan, Iraq, and they end up having a drug problem, an alcohol problem, post-traumatic stress disorder problems, like many people in the military. All right, whether it's an American citizen or a resident. And the military just completely let these people down because as an American, they even let the Americans down who came back with post-traumatic stress disorder, but at least they weren't deporting them. So people with post-traumatic stress disorder came back. They got themselves in trouble with alcohol, drugs, small robberies. We spoke to many different people who went through it all. They weren't expecting, after serving in the United States military, putting their life at risk, that they would get deported and go back to a country that they never knew about. So it's finally, at least they're recognizing what the United States did.
That's good.
Now, typically, as it says here in my card, typically veterans were deported because they were convicted of crimes. Veteran advocates have said that many fell into trouble because of post-traumatic stress disorder, just like I said, but many of these relatives had no criminal records. After more than 2 years in deportation, for example, 58-year-old Mexican citizen Juana Flores, who has 10 children, 18 grandchildren in the United States, including a son serving overseas in the U.S. forces, returned to her home in California on June 4th. She returned as a United States citizen after being deported. So that's nice. Let's see what happens. I know we have had many veterans on our show. We're going to talk about it in much greater detail tomorrow. We'll see if the Biden administration walks the walk and not just talks the talk.
I hope so.
I hope so. Meanwhile, on Friday, President Joe Biden hosted a naturalization ceremony at the White House. He welcomed 21 immigrants as citizens of the United States. That's very nice. He invited, that would be a nice honor if you were going to become a citizen of the United States of America, to get invited to the White House and get sworn in by the president.
Right.
That would be a nice thing, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Now, the ceremony was part of a U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services effort to swear in nearly 10,000 new citizens in 170 naturalization ceremonies between June 30th and July 7th. I can say that although immigration is moving very, very slowly, the naturalization process has picked up speed recently.
That's good.
So at least filing for citizenship, those interviews have been coming a lot faster than people's work permits and green cards. Now, acting USCIS Director Tracy Renaud and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas joined Biden at the ceremony at the White House. On Wednesday, Mayorkas had administered the oath of allegiance virtually to 22 military service members. So that's very nice. Let's see what else is happening. Oh, this is not so nice, Vanessa. 230 people were fatally shot on July 4th.
Oh my goodness.
In the United States of America. You don't really read about it. We talk about gun violence in the U.S.
Fatally, though?
Yeah, we talk about gun violence because I think it's important that we keep talking about it until somebody does something about it. At least 233 people were killed. 608. This is the United States of America.
Damn.
233 people killed by guns.
That's wild.
618 people injured in more than 500 shootings across the United States of America.
For what? Like, what?
For what?
What do they just like? But
I don't know.
This is
Friday to Monday. This is the weekend.
I feel like that's like every year though, because anytime we always say 4th of July, everybody's always like, I need to stay in. Like, find a place to watch the fireworks in a safe place, because there's always so many shootings on.
Yeah. In New York City alone, 26 victims, 21 shootings. Chicago, 100 people were shot.
Jeez.
18 people killed between Friday 6 p.m. to Sunday night at midnight.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, happy holiday,
This is exactly
America.
why we say, get rid of it.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the remaining portion of the Champlain Towers South condo building in Surfside was finally demolished. I read a sad article that there was a cat that was still alive in the building, and an animal activist went to court to try to stop the demolition and go in and save the cat. And sadly, a judge said no. It was too dangerous because they had already wired the building with detonation devices, Why they didn't go try to save the cat before, maybe that wasn't their priority. They were trying to save humans. I don't know, but it was very sad. So somewhere in that destruction, there was a live cat, somebody's pet. Lots of pets died too in there, and died. Now, Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava told CNN in a briefing Sunday night that once the area has been deemed secure following the building's demolition, search and rescue will continue. I don't expect them to find anybody. The demolition was planned to be confined to the immediate area around the building. Now, officials have been racing to demolish the building because, as Vanessa had said, Tropical Storm Elsa heading south to South Florida, heavy rains, winds 60-mile-an-hour winds. Now, appearing on Sunday's Face the Nation on CBS, Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett underscored the authorities are still working with the mindset that remains a rescue effort. I don't think it's a rescue effort. I think it's let's get the remains of the victims and give them a proper burial effort at this point.
And then they haven't got all the...
No, they found, last count I saw 32. They have recovered 32 bodies. But there was, as of the weekend, 150 people missing.
Yeah, I had read an article where an elderly couple was found in their bed. That was so sad to me. How many people, went to bed that night and was like, okay, see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, it was very sad. And apparently, according to the engineering reports, at least the preliminary reports, what they're saying is that the building, at least this is the best guesswork of engineers at the moment. It's not a fact, but it's guesswork by the engineers. But at the moment, what they're saying is that the building was lacking the proper structural support in the excavation part of the building, and it was lacking not because it wasn't designed properly, but it wasn't built properly. So whoever was the builder, the theory being right now that whoever built this condominium kind of skimmed on the proper support needed for a 12-story condominium.
How can you just skim
on the foundation?
On the foundation portions of it. So if that foundation becomes unstable, the whole building collapses like a house of cards. Now, what my question is how the heck are people still living in the other tower, knowing this information?
So, were they? Do you guys think that they were?
They were built together.
They were built
twin.
together.
They were like twin condos built together, a north and south.
No way.
So how are you possibly still living in that building?
I mean, can you get your money back for
no,
something
you
like
can't
that?
get your money back from this. No,
it's like millions of
dollars. What do you think, Vanessa? You think this is going to affect the real estate? I mean, in Miami, the real estate market has been, skyrocketing, probably more than any other place in the United States of America. The real estate market in South Florida, anybody who's tried to buy any real estate in any part, I'm not even talking on the beach, anywhere in South Florida has been going astronomical because of low interest rates. People say they like the idea that, South Florida is warm, lower taxes certainly than in the Northeast, and they don't have the COVID restrictions in the Northeast. So people have been really moving to Florida and pushing up the real estate. Do you think this is going to have an effect? You just moved to Florida. You think, what are your friends and family saying down in Florida? That people are now scared to go buy?
I don't think so. I really don't think, this is like anything else. It could have happened anywhere. It could have happened. It's clear that it was an engineering issue. I don't think, even for myself, I'm looking to purchase my first home, and it's going to be down there in Florida, and seeing an occurrence like this doesn't make me think twice about purchasing down south.
Would you be concerned? This is a 40-year-old building that was built in the late 70s, early 80s. According to the news reports, it was a lot more lax in terms of 40 years ago, in terms of the requirements to build, the safety reviews of the buildings. Apparently, there was even been some talk about payoffs from different people who were building buildings for the engineers to look the other way. Are you
wow.
concerned about moving into a building that may have been built 30, 40 years ago in South Florida? I would be.
See, that's a different point.
I would be.
Here. Now we're niching down. Now you're getting more specific. I'd probably have to really, I'd think about that one.
And
think about that.
Jill says in my ear that the other tower was evacuated, so I don't believe anybody is.
Well, they should. Well, if you're going to blow up the half of it, right?
Well, no. There was 2 buildings. They evacuated the building
That was still up.
That was still
Yeah.
up. Obviously, they
Right.
destroyed that. They didn't keep the people living in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume there's about $60 or $80 million. I think I read it was. I forgot it was $60 or $80 million in total insurance. So you buy a $2-3 million home, it's destroyed. If you live, okay, you have a complete loss of your home, all your property and belongings in that home, and if God forbid you died, your estate has not only your loss of value of your entire home and all the contents of that home, but the estate also has the value of the person's life who died, plus their pain and suffering.
Right.
And you have $60 to $80 million to divide that amongst everybody. So people are not going to get paid out what they expect to get paid out. Yeah. So I mean, just thinking about it from a financial point of view and lawyer point of view, there's not enough money to go around.
Right.
Not for that catastrophic loss.
Man.
Unless, obviously I'm sure some people had life insurance, so their life insurance will pay out. Other people had personal insurance, so their personal insurance may pay out. But certainly in the building, there's not going to be enough money to go around. Not for the values of those apartments, the contents inside of those apartments, plus the loss of life and the pain and suffering of people. You don't, who knows how much people suffered? Did you die instantly? Were they suffering underneath the rubble?
Right.
People are gonna.
I mean, so many different things.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna, as you get people to come out, I assume that there's going to be a review by an autopsy done, how the person died. Did the person die immediately? Did they suffer under the rubble for days or hours or minutes? Because the medical examiners can figure that one out too.
Right.
And if somebody's suffering under rubble for days, that's a much greater value than dying instantly. as sad as it is.
Yeah.
The whole thing is awful.
It is.
Whole thing is awful. Right. Let's go to coronavirus. United States has more than 33.7 million confirmed coronavirus cases. You know my thinking with the coronavirus at this point? I'll give you my 2 thoughts on it.
Thoughts. Let's hear them.
You know when coronavirus is going to go away?
When?
When everybody in the world either gets it or is vaccinated. It's got to go all around the world to billions and billions of people. Either every person is going to get coronavirus and then you're going to become immune, or the person's going to be vaccinated. And until...
How long do you think that could take?
I have no idea. But until it goes around and everybody becomes... It's just going to keep going. We're going to... In 5 years from now, I'm going to be like, all right, in coronavirus news, it's just going to go on and on and on and on and on. I don't think it's just ever going to go away. So to me personally, as I think about it more, I think all these lockdowns and quarantines and everything else... I think it's the opposite of self-serving, because ultimately everyone's going to end up having to get sick. So the only people, me personally, my opinion, people who should be quarantining are people who are literally, if you get sick, you would die.
Right.
But short of that, it's you can quarantine for the rest of I read Australia's back under quarantine.
Oh, really?
I mean, you can quarantine forever, but until it goes through your population, it's going to go through it.
Yeah. One way or another.
One way or the other. So either get vaccinated or say, I'm not going to get vaccinated, and eventually I'm going to get it. It's going to happen.
Well, even if you get the...
Doesn't mean you're going to die.
Right, but I'm saying, even if you get it, I don't know if that would even stop it, because you're only immune for, a couple months, and then you could get it again. You know,
Nobody
so
really knows. My 2 cents of understanding it, and it's literally 2 cents of value that I'm giving you, because nobody really understands it, is I think if you have COVID or you have the vaccine and you get it, it seems that the second time around is less severe. The third time around would be even less severe than that. So it seems to me that if you have the antibodies for COVID, even if you get it, the severity is less, whether it's because you got vaccinated or because you previously had COVID.
Got you.
That's what it seems to me to be. But I think all of these quarantines at this point are actually doing the opposite of, what it's intended, because you're not going to save lives. You're just delaying the inevitable. Prime Minister Boris Johnson told residents of England they plan to end their quarantines in England on July 19th. They're calling it Freedom Day. Duchess Kate is self-isolating after she tested positive for coronavirus. Russia, 25,000 new coronavirus cases in January. We're just going to keep going on and on about this until everybody gets it, sadly.
Yeah.
All over the world.
All over the world. 14 people were arrested in Mumbai, India in connection with a scheme to administer fake COVID vaccines to thousands of people who got injected with salt water.
What?
Yes, that's lovely.
Wow.
The highly infectious Delta variant now accounts for 25% of cases in the United States. In Israel, they're saying, because Israel has been vaccinated by the Pfizer vaccine, they're saying that Pfizer is not. Now, Pfizer says it is. Now, according to the Pfizer people, their vaccine protects against Delta. But in Israel, they are reporting that people who have had the Pfizer vaccine are getting COVID. So it may not be 100% with the Pfizer vaccine. But you know what? You read different things from different people, so who knows? Comes down to, Vanessa, everyone's got to get it. That's what I really believe.
Everyone's. Yeah. Okay.
What do you? Is that what? I wonder what the squad thinks.
I just asked them if they're going
Yeah. What
to
do
get,
they think?
Yeah, I just asked them if they're going to get vaxxed if they haven't
But
already.
do they
no.
think? What do they think of that theory? Because I don't know how it's going to end. I mean, it's either going to end one of two ways. Okay? Because I thought about this over the weekend. Either everybody in the world quarantines for 14 days. Literally everybody locks themselves in their house. Nobody can give it to anybody else. And then that's the end of COVID.
No one's gonna respect that, though.
No, but you would have to get every person in the world to do it, which would never happen. Or,
would never happen.
Or just wait for it to go around the world. Everybody gets sick. You eventually get the antibodies, and unfortunately, some people will die. Sadly.
Right. Or people can just get vaccinated.
Or get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's get some tea.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We have a butler? We do have a butler. Here he is. Where's our butler? Here he is.
Yeah.
In his white. What kind of butler uniform is this?
I think
The butler uniform.
I think he got it mixed up. You
He's
said
supposed to wear
white gloves.
white gloves,
But he said
black
white shirt.
jacket, and he came with white shirt.
I was supposed to come as a butler. I came as a sailor.
He came as a Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thought maybe the butler was going to throw the tea in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like how I look? Boom.
Is that real sugar in there?
There
Or
is
that
real
just
sugar.
for
This is
props?
all real stuff. No, this is real stuff. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Jay Rhymes.
Ahoy, mate.
All right, everybody, Jay Rhymes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yay, great job. Let's see how he made our tea today. It's
I'm
warm.
just gonna
Yes,
guess.
it is warm.
It's very
Chamomile.
warm. What?
Between chamomile and peppermint.
I don't.
Peppermint.
What kind of tea is it today, Jonathan? What kind of tea do we have?
It's peppermint.
It's peppermint.
I think this is our last week. I think this is our last week of peppermint.
I got a memo from Julie. She goes, next week it's not peppermint tea anymore.
Yeah, she said some fun, something
Something
real
fun.
festive, like
Yes.
peach something.
I don't know what we're
I like
getting.
that.
The peppermint box is finally out.
I like having my
Jessica Leamy said pinkies up.
I like having my spot of tea at 6:30 in the evening. It's very soothing,
It is.
isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk
Hey,
some
I
tea.
actually
By
have
the-
something on you. I have something on YouTube real quick from
What?
a new Chandra saying, just going back to how the squad feels it would all end. A news says it will end the way the Spanish flu ended. If the virus doesn't find a host for a few days, it will die. Let's see.
Well, that's what I said. Either we all quarantine for 14 days or it just goes around the world. It's one or the other. But you know, the difference between the Spanish flu and coronavirus, I think the number one difference, Spanish flu was 1917, coronavirus is 2021. 1918, whatever. Same thing. You want to know why? You want to know what they had in 1918?
What?
A train and a stagecoach. You know what they have now? Airplanes that go all around the world. Cars.
Right.
Okay, so it was much easier to contain viruses because people weren't traveling.
That makes sense.
I don't think you can compare it to the Spanish flu. Meanwhile, I want you to know something. Every July 4th, I say to myself, this is the year I will not watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And
You
why
really watch it?
and why I will not watch it is because every time I watch it, I am disgusted beyond belief that anybody could shove that many hot dogs down their throat.
it's
I said
crazy.
that is disgusting,
Yeah,
man.
it's insane.
It is
It's just a bit
insane,
much.
disgusting.
It's a bit excessive.
So, of course, this year, I watched it again. Because I have a sick, depraved mind and I had to see this Joey Chestnut go for his 14th win. Let me have some tea as I think
So
about
better.
this.
Yeah, that just makes me sick.
Did you watch? You ever watch this?
No. It's
I
disgusting.
don't, but I watched Yo-Yo cooking hot dogs on his sidewalk this weekend, and that looks like fun.
But look at this
It
guy,
was
Joey
fun.
Chestnut. He ate 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. But it's just not only the hot dog, it's the hot dog and the
And
bun.
and then hot water
and
that you
hot
gotta
water
you
to
gotta,
get it down. And look, he's not even a fat guy. He looks like olive
Exactly,
oil,
he
the
looks
female
filthy.
olive
Right,
oil.
right.
He
But-
looks like male olive oil. You know olive oil from Popeye?
Yes, but that doesn't mean that you're healthy because you could be that skinny and have diabetes and high blood pressure. So
Well, it was the 14th time in a row. He is the top-ranked hot dog eater in the world. And he won the title 15 years in total.
that's wild.
Yes.
15 years?
Yes. Is that the
in a row?
14 in a row, 15 in total. Now, according to Nathan's, legend has it that the first contest of its kind was held on July 4th, 1916. 4 immigrants. They got 4 poor immigrants to come and do a hot dog eating contest.
Oh, wow.
And all the immigrants were competing to show how patriotic they would be by eating the American hot dog in Coney Island. And since then, every year, they've had a hot dog eating contest, but started by immigrants.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would never do it if you're gonna ask.
Well then.
I couldn't.
I want
Yeah,
you,
no.
after that, you
I'm
can't
an
even.
immigrant, still not having that many hot dogs.
No.
Not me. No.
Meanwhile, I wonder if the immigrants who first started the hot dog eating contest invented bunning. It's when they dipped the
That's
bun.
disgusting.
They
That
dipped the bun in the water, to make
That's
it go
the
down faster.
First of all,
Oh,
that's the
gross,
nastiest
gross.
thing. When I was
Gross.
I can't really say. When I was going through a process for an
For fraternities,
organization,
yeah.
sometimes we would have to eat like bread in
gross.
hot water and just like scarf down just a bunch of stuff. But like the thing that really was the nastiest was just bread and hot water. The consistency, it's just.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you can't talk about your fraternity,
Yeah, no.
That
but
is
I
very
think,
nauseating.
by the way, going back to coronavirus, I'm sorry for hot dogs 1 second and fraternities. I think they should start calling coronavirus variants after fraternities. Like this is instead of the Delta, this is like the Lambda Chi. This is this is like the Tri-Delt, strand.
I mean, Delta
do it
is-
after fraternities and sororities.
I mean, Delta is after a sorority.
I know.
Delta's a
That's why I'm like, I should be making after fraternities and sororities.
Right.
Meanwhile, Britney Spears, this poor woman.
Free Britney.
I'm free I'm totally free Britney.
Me too.
All right, I am totally free Britney. I don't understand as an attorney how this conservatorship works, how she's complaining now that she went up and made a very lucid statement that she is not a crazy woman, that she wants out of this conservatorship. Meanwhile, every penny being spent by her lawyers, the conservators' lawyers, the father, it's all Britney's money from her work. And to this day, her lawyer, who is appointed by the judge, she can't even pick her lawyer.
That's wild.
It blows my mind that this could actually happen to an individual. Her lawyer still has not made an application to the court to eliminate the conservatorship. Because money makes the world go round, Yo-Yo.
There you go.
All right? Nobody wants to end this thing because too many people are getting rich.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
That's wild.
Yes. For 13 years, Britney has lived under a system that restricts her control over her life and finances. She's called it abusive. In a June 23rd hearing, pleaded with the court to let her out. Spears' father and others involved in the conservatorship defended the arrangement, said it rescued her from a low point and that she could move to end it whenever she wanted. Well, maybe she needed it 12 years ago, but she certainly doesn't need it now.
Right.
Doesn't need it now.
She doesn't need it now. All right, but nobody's ending it. Nobody's ending it. What do you think, Vanessa?
I just feel like it gets complex because when you listen to the audio, it's like, again, like we're saying, she doesn't ever technically have someone on her side because all these lawyers are part of the conservatorship and she can't even, it's just complex. It's complicated. And I'm really just hoping that this all gets resolved for her.
I just hope that she has good people around her because I could only imagine being bipolar or having a mental illness and you not taking your meds and like feeling that you're trapped in your own life and not being able to be an adult. Like, if this could be very, it could have a bad ending.
It could have a bad ending, but she has the right to have that bad ending. In other words, she has the right to have that bad ending. She's not, there's lots of people who have money.
No,
in other words, there's lots of people who have money, don't spend it well, and are broke.
When
you have a right to do that if that's what you.
Right. What I said when I say bad ending, I'm saying if they continue to not allow her to have her money, she could easily just, I don't want to like put it out there, but a lot of people have committed suicide or for less. So that's why I said I hope that she has good people to at least uplift her spirits because I could not imagine not being able to spend my own money that I worked my entire life making.
Now on Thursday, Time magazine reported that Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey were calling for greater federal scrutiny of the conservatorship or the guardianship system. Following the singer's court testimony on June 23rd, longtime members of Spears' team have resigned from their positions. On Monday, Larry Rudolph, the pop star's manager since the mid-90s, informed her temporary conservator Jody Montgomery and Britney's father Jamie Spears that he was stepping down. He wrote, earlier today I became aware that Britney has been voicing her intention to officially retire. And as her manager, I believe it is in Britney's best interest for me to resign from her team as my professional services are no longer needed. Now all of a sudden the guy's retiring 30 years after being the manager.
Wow.
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? You can't resign your way out of this one and say my hands.
Right.
I did the right thing.
Right.
Sorry, I don't buy that.
Nobody in the entire world agrees with you on that.
Yeah. Finally, before we get to our immigration, we got to talk Bill Cosby.
Oh.
Yeah. Now he called Howard University. Did you see that, Yo-Yo?
Yes, because Felicia Rashad was just appointed
dean. He called on Howard University to support former co-star Felicia Rashad's freedom of speech after she expressed support for Bill Cosby's exoneration. In a statement, Cosby lashed out at the media, comparing journalists to the rioters who stormed the Capitol in January. And he wrote in a statement through his spokesperson, Howard University, you must support one's freedom of speech, Miss Rashad, which is taught or supposed to be taught every day at the renowned law school, which resides on your campus. So Felicia Rashad is actually the head of the drama department there. Is that correct? I think if she's not the head, she's a professor. She's the dean of the drama department or whatever, professor. She's high up there in the drama department at Howard University. The dean of Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts. So she has a very important position at Howard University.
Right.
And
I will be one to say, though, there's no cancel culture when it comes to Felicia Rashad, though, because she's too much of a legend. I'll say that.
You cannot cancel Felicia.
Hell no. Nobody will cancel
nobody
her.
can cancel her.
No.
So she gets a waiver.
Absolutely. She's a legend. I don't care what anybody says. No cancel for Felicia Rashad.
Well, Cosby's support of Felicia Rashad comes after the actress who played his TV wife in The Cosby Show defended the comedian. Rashad said in a tweet last week, finally a terrible wrong is being righted, a miscarriage of justice. Many Howard alumni have expressed disappointment and are not on Jonathan's
Well, I'm a Howard alumni as well.
I know you are. The Howard University responded. Their official statement is that Dean Rashad's initial tweet lacks sensitivity towards survivors of sexual assault. So, freedom of speech, you could take a position. I just find it, this is what I find. She did apologize.
She did.
Okay, but why are some professors able to take political positions on certain things and not other things? You know, because there's a lot of professors who take political positions, but if they take popular political positions, it's okay. If you take unpopular political positions, it's a problem. You either I'm not either supporting or, because there's both sides of the coin.
Right.
You know, people who have survivors of sexual assault, they should be respected. And when you shouldn't be, perhaps, someone who is the victim of sexual assault who says Bill Cosby sexually assaulted this woman, but for the facts all pointed that not only he did this to this particular victim, but many victims, and got off because of a technicality, maybe he should be in jail still. Doesn't seem fair as a sexual assault survivor. And Felicia Rashad feels differently.
And I like what Sasha Ford said. Everyone has the right to support who they want.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to say. Right. You can only, when professors at universities support popular positions, nobody has a problem with it. Okay, but when they support an unpopular position, then people have a problem with it. Yes. So you either say no speech or say what you want. And then if you choose Howard University that person doesn't represent what you represent, then you can certainly take as an employer to an employee situation, but to make her backtrack what she says.
Yeah. Can't do that.
All right, let's get to our immigration, our Braducation. In today's Braducation, I explain what an ESTA visa is, who's eligible for an ESTA, and why. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Immigration Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. U.S. immigration law is complex and the regulations are constantly changing. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law and achieve your American dream. Now, there are 39 countries enrolled in the United States Visa Waiver Program that allows citizens of those countries to travel to the United States for tourism and stay for 90 days without a visa with an ESTA, which is the digital travel authorization to the USA you obtain online. Now, why are some countries in the Visa Waiver Program and citizens of those countries can get ESTAs and citizens of other countries can't? Well, the United States determines if your country is in the Visa Waiver Program based on two statistics. One is the percentage of people who overstayed their visas from your country. The other is the percentage of people who were refused visas from your country. Countries with low percentage rates of both visa overstays and visa refusals get into the United States Visa Waiver Program. All right, let's get to our immigration questions. You got a question, I've got an answer. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Orrit in Cincinnati, Ohio. Orrit, how are you?
Good, Brad. How are you?
Good,
Thank
good.
you for everything you're doing.
My pleasure. What can I do to help you today?
My mother-in-law, she is here with us, and she wants to apply for her kids. They're under 21.
Mm-hmm.
And we already filed, and they send us the affidavit form, but she don't have any income.
Okay. Now, your mother is a citizen, a resident?
A resident. She's not my mother. She's my mother-in-law.
Okay. All right. So she's going to sign an I-864 affidavit of support, and she's going to show zero income. By law, she has to fill it out, and she writes, where it says income zero, assets zero, whatever. It could be zero right down the board. She signs it. I got zero. Then you live in the same home as her?
Yes.
Okay. You, as a household member in the same home as your mother-in-law, can do an I-864A and add every person who earns money in that household. So that would be you, your husband. If there's other people in the household who earn money, all do I-864As. And you add up all of your income. And if you're all of everybody's income in the household, when you do all the I-864As, is 125% above the poverty level for all the people in the house plus the additional children coming, you're good. If you're still not there yet, then you go to household number 2 and you get an I-864 from an initial person in household number 2 and get all the other people in that household to do I-864As and add up that income as well.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. Like a joint sponsor, you mean?
Yes, but you're not even the joint sponsor. You're an additional household member. So you're going to do an I-864A, your husband's I-864A, and then I was saying if that income doesn't add up, then you go to the joint sponsor.
Okay.
All right? But put that on
you.
your mother-in-law, 000. It's fine, and she signs it.
Okay.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Good luck.
Okay.
Let's go to Minette in Muskegon, Michigan. Minette.
Yes, good day to you, or good evening. My question is, my sister used to travel from Jamaica, and they sent her back like 2 years ago, for 5 years. They assume she working, but she have a fiancé here that's scared to travel. How can she get a fiancé visa to come up here? They want to get married, but he is scared to go to Jamaica.
Why is he scared to go to Jamaica?
He don't want to fly.
Okay, fine. So then you would do a fiancé visa, but he has to marry her when she comes here within the first 90 days. Is he willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a fiancé visa. And when she goes for her fiancé visa appointment, it's going to be denied for the prior misrepresentation of working on a visitor's visa and getting deported at the airport. And she's going to need 2 waivers. One, a 212 waiver for the removal at the airport and a I-601 waiver for the misrepresentation. both of them are basically the same thing. They're based on hardship to this man up here in America. So if he's terrified to go on an airplane, okay, he would never be able to see his wife for the rest of his life if she wouldn't get a fiancé visa to come here. All right, so that's a big burden because the U.S. government says, well, we're not telling you you can't live with your wife. We're saying you can't live with your wife here in America. Well, I can't get on an airplane, so basically you're telling me I can never live with my wife. So now all of a sudden that's an extreme hardship, perhaps, and then she gets waivers to come here to do the fiancé visa.
Okay.
All right, so we can help. I made it very, very simple, but it's a little more complicated, the waiver. But that's the basic concept.
Okay.
All right, so hold on one second.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Jomik in Dallas, Texas. Jomik. Jomike. Jamak. Hello.
Good afternoon, Brad. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing great.
What's going on?
Yeah, so just to give you a quick background, I received my OPT last year of June 16th,
right?
And it just expired this past. I already got married 2 weeks ago, so I'm married to a U.S. citizen because I'm originally from Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay.
And I haven't filed as yet, so I'm just wanting to know because I work with a company now, but I'm on a leave of absence because I was nervous on just working after my OPT expired.
Okay.
So I realized that I'm not in that status anymore. But I wanted to know, can I go back to work and, within the process, or do I have to wait until I file and get my work permit?
My answer is this, okay? I would file, first of all, I would file an adjustment application immediately to get your work permit. The fact that you are working as an undocumented person in America, married to a U.S. citizen who is in the process of filing an adjustment of status application, will in zero way prevent you from getting a green card. All right, there's actually no penalty whatsoever being married to an American citizen, working undocumented to get your green card. If you're working and you have a social security number, your employer is paying your taxes, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Now, the liability is on your employer's part because they're hiring somebody in violation of their visa status. So they may choose to say, we're not going to hire you until you get a work permit. If they want to take that risk of hiring you before you get a work permit, they're risking, what are they risking? They're risking a fine.
Okay.
But it's no effect on you. So my advice is always, because I represent the person getting the green card. I don't represent the employer. I have nothing to do with the employer. So my advice is always, go work. My advice is always go work. Of course, you got to put food on the table.
Exactly, because I initiated me stop working because I was just nervous on what will come up during the interview process. But they didn't send me no email or anything.
No, go back. Go back to work and file an adjustment.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Let's go to Jojo in Skokie, Illinois. Jojo.
Yes. Hi. Good afternoon, attorney.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you, sir?
Good. What can I do to help you?
Yeah. I got approved for Form I-130, and then, but after I get my interview, I got denied for my 485.
Right.
So everything's in limbo right now because my work permit is expired, but I already got things like the Social Security and everything. I want to know do I still have a chance? Because I received a notice to appear, but this one, I think, because of
why
COVID.
Was your I-130 denied? Tell me why.
It's the I-485 was denied.
Why was your I-485 denied?
It doesn't say in here, actually.
You filed an adjustment through your wife?
No, through my son.
Through your son. How old is your son?
24 right now.
And he's a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
How did you come to the United States?
I got here, I overstayed, but I'm tourist visa.
On a tourist visa. Where are you from?
Yes, sir. Philippines.
And have you ever been convicted of a crime?
No, sir.
So you and your son, he works? You got a decent affidavit of support?
Yeah, and I also got a help from a friend who co-sponsored me.
Was there any sort of misrepresentation issues on your part? Like, were you ever caught in a lie or a fraud?
I guess because I have I have a fiance, and he's like we overlook the representation there that I am legally married but long time separated.
Okay, but that's not a fraud. What do you mean illegally married? I don't know what that means.
Like, because on my application from the time that I applied for my visa in the Philippines for tourists, it was placed there single instead of married.
Aha!
Yeah.
Now we know why you were denied. Because you committed, because they're alleging that you committed fraud in the visitor's visa application, where you said that you were married when in fact you were single.
But it was like really an honest mistake.
It may have been an honest mistake, but being married, claiming being married and claiming being single is a factor in whether or not to grant you a visa. And the reason is people who are married are more likely to return to their spouses. Single people have nothing to return home to. So it's more, when you get issued a visitor's visa, the consular officer at the embassy is making a determination. Will you return to the Philippines? That's why let me finish my sentence, because I understand exactly what's going on, so I'll explain it to you. So when you go into the embassy and you claim you're married when in fact you are single, you're giving yourself a better opportunity to get the visitor's visa issued to you, because it is more likely that you will return to the Philippines as a married person than as a single person. So that is a big determining factor whether or not you would get a visa or not. So when you mark off, even in an honest mistake, and I don't know how honest mistake it was because people know what they're doing, but let's assume we take you on your word for it that it was an honest mistake, it is still a material misrepresentation of facts. You were single when you claimed you were married, and that was a determining factor, perhaps, in whether you got that visitor's visa. So then everything you do after is fraud and misrepresentation. So when your son files for you, years and years later, 10, 20 years later, whenever this may have happened, okay, when your son files for you, that misrepresentation follows you for life. And that's why your adjustment application was denied. And unfortunately, when a U.S. citizen's son or daughter over the age of 21 files for their mother and father, there's no waiver for misrepresentation in those applications. You can only get a waiver through a spouse or through a parent, which is why your adjustment application was denied, which is why you have what's called a notice to appear, and which is why you are now going to be in deportation once the courts open after COVID. So you're asking me, do you have a chance, not based on your son filing an adjustment for you, because there is no waiver available? Do you have other possibilities to win a deportation case? Absolutely. But it sounds like you really need help at this point. So hold on one second, okay? Let's go to Amy in Union, New Jersey. Amy. Amy in Union, New Jersey.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, my question is, I want to know, can you sponsor a second spouse?
Well, you can be married, get divorced, and then remarry and sponsor a second spouse. But if you're in a bigamous marriage because you have multiple spouses, no. So I don't know what you're referring to. Multiple spouses because you're in a bigamous marriage, or you got married, divorced, and remarried again?
No, like divorced and remarried, but this new marriage, it's like you have to help the person with their immigration status.
All right, so how did you get your green card? Through marriage?
No, U.S. citizen.
You got married to a U.S. citizen to get your green card, correct?
No. Also, is my boyfriend, right? He got married before, but he had issues with his first wife, the divorce. Now he wants to marry me.
And who's the U.S. citizen in the group?
my boyfriend.
Okay, so you're concerned that he already sponsored a first wife, and now he's going to be sponsoring you. Well, you know, immigration, you're allowed to fall in love, fall out of love, and fall in love again. And believe it or not, you're allowed to fall in love twice with somebody who's undocumented. There's no law that says you can't. And there's no law that says you can't sponsor a wife. That wife gets a green card, you get divorced, and then you say, you know what, I fell in love with wife number 2, and lo and behold, she's out of status 2, and I need to file an adjustment for her. There's no law that says you can't. Now, immigration, they're going to say, well, whoa, let's put it together. Listen, you know, I don't. Let's make up your boyfriend's name, Sam. Listen, Sam, okay, is your business marrying women to get a green card? No, he's just going to have to prove that his first marriage was for love and his second marriage was for love. I mean, if the man is coming with his 30th wife in 5 years, then obviously the man's in business getting married to get a green card. But you're allowed to fall in love, fall out of love, and fall back in love again. That's not a problem at all. Plenty of people do it, and plenty of people have sponsored multiple wives in their lifetime. So as long as your marriage to this man is valid, bona fide, which means you're going to live with him and have a financial relationship with him, you go for it.
Okay, is there like a number of years or months we have to wait before we get married and file, or we can just do it?
Just go do it.
Okay.
You know, they say go, girl. You go.
All right. Thank you so
You're
much.
Welcome. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Mr. McPherson in Queens, New York.
Hello, Brad.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I have 2 15 questions for you. And I'm going for an interview this week. And our life insurance didn't send over a certificate.
You went for an interview and what? You're breaking up, Mr. McPherson. You went for an interview and I heard life insurance, but you're breaking up.
Yeah,
why don't we put Mr. McPherson on hold, get him to a better area. We're going to go back to Mr. McPherson in a few minutes. Let's go to Saeed in Raleigh, North Carolina. Saeed.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how
are you? Good evening, sir. Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I have applied for my sibling for I-130, and in the process, he passed away. Can that be transferred to his widow wife and
only if the wife and siblings are in America?
No, they are not.
No, so unfortunately that would be the end of the case. So we would have to figure out a new way to get the wife and siblings here.
Got it. All right. Thank you for your advice. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Sima in Ashburn, Virginia. Sima.
Yes, sir. I have a question for you for the F2B category. My mom, she has green card and she applied for my 2 unmarried brothers who are over 21 and they are in F2B category. I want to know that how long they have to wait more. Their priority date is 21st October 2016.
Probably about another 12 to 24 months, somewhere in there.
How much?
Probably 12 to 24 months. Do they have the visa petition approved?
Yes, everything is approved. Now this is in NVC.
Yeah, probably 12 to 24 months, somewhere in there. 1 to 2 years.
So they start processing the cases for the interviews and everything from Pakistan?
I don't know from Pakistan, but certainly you're 12 to 24 months away generally from getting a green card. Your specific case in Pakistan, I can't tell you off the top of my head when your brothers and sisters will get their green cards, but if I had to take a guess, 12 to 24 months.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right, let's go to John in Queens, New York. John.
Hey, hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Hey, I had a question. So, the misdemeanor charge for moving violation, does that come under CIMT, crime involving moral turpitude? And
this was in New York?
Yes.
Were you speeding at like 180 miles an hour? What were you doing that you got a misdemeanor?
No, like fail to stop.
Fail to stop is not a misdemeanor. Fail to stop is a traffic violation. You're saying fail to stop after the cops told you to pull over and you kept driving?
So this is for one of my friends.
I don't know what was pled guilty to, because you said a misdemeanor for a traffic violation, because traffic violation is traffic violation, misdemeanor is misdemeanor. So what was it?
Okay, so it was for my friend. It was a DUI kind of charge, and
so that's completely different than failure to stop, traffic violation, or misdemeanor. We're now talking DUI.
Okay, because I think what
are we talking about?
So what I discussed with him was he was saying that his attorney was saying that we can reduce the charge. He was charged something else, and his attorney told that we can reduce that charge to moving violation, which is a petty offense or misdemeanor, and you will get some 1 year probation.
A moving violation is a traffic violation, is a nothing. It's not a crime of moral turpitude. A misdemeanor could be, depending on what he's found guilty of. A DUI is generally not a crime of moral turpitude. So if you want specific advice, you need to get specific information. Find out what he is pleading guilty to. It's a traffic violation. He's fine.
Okay. His attorney is telling that his attorney is recommending that you plead guilty to moving violation, which will be misdemeanor.
A moving violation is not a misdemeanor. It's a traffic violation. A traffic violation is okay.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Let's go back to Mr. McPherson in Queens, who has moved spots. Mr. McPherson.
Yes. Good afternoon, Brad.
Okay. Now I hear you better. What's going on?
I'm good. I'm going for an interview this week, but the insurance company didn't send over our life insurance, the certificate. But we have the copies of the things that they sent over to sign up.
That's fine.
I want to know if I can bring that.
Bring that. Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yes, but we have the bank statement and the lease and the visa card and stuff.
Good, bring it.
And
Absolutely.
the next thing. My wife didn't file for me in 2019, but she filed for me in 2020. I shouldn't be worried.
When did you get married?
November 2019.
You need to amend your taxes and do a joint tax return for 2019.
Oh. But I'm going for interview this week, so it's going to be a problem.
It's not a problem. I mean, as long as you can prove you have a financial relationship, you just didn't do your taxes well together. So it certainly doesn't help you. If you have enough documentation, you can prove it's a real marriage. Hopefully it goes well.
Oh,
it's based on the totality of circumstances. But good luck. Maybe you could go to an accountant and still switch it. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Mahi in Hagerstown, Maryland. Mahi.
Hello?
Hi, Mahi.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Good.
Okay, so my wife, she's 24. She's U.S. citizen, and she's actually sponsoring me. We've been married for over 2 years. But when we got married, her family didn't show up because, she didn't tell them that we get married because she's in a bad term with the family.
Okay.
Her mom passed away when she was 3. And her dad, lives back home. They haven't talked, for 7 years.
There's no law that says the family has to come to a wedding for you to prove it's real.
Yeah, but my question is, my family does know. But would it be a red flag, her family doesn't know, but, we've been married?
Well, I'm sure the immigration officer will say, that's strange. How come your family doesn't know? Are you trying, is this a business marriage and you're trying to keep it from your family? And your wife, I'm sure, will give a perfectly reasonable explanation like you just gave, why the family doesn't know. She's not close with them. She doesn't talk to them anymore. And as long as you live together and have a financial relationship, that's all that matters at the end.
Okay. Yeah, because our interview is coming up next month, and we were not sure how to answer that.
Right.
Because, I was reading on.
You tell the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is always a good answer.
Correct, yeah.
All right?
Okay, all right. Thank you. That was my question.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let's go to Mike in Carson, California. Mike.
Hi, Brad. Thank you for taking my call. How you doing today?
What's going on?
So I recently went back to my home country, and then coming back to the U.S. I'm a green card holder, so coming back home to the United States, the immigration officer did not ask me for my foreign passport. However, he did scan my green card. So I was wondering, like, if I'm gonna have some kind of problems because he didn't stamp my passport, or how does that work?
There's still. Don't worry. There's still a electronic record of your entry just because they didn't stamp it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, and another question. At the time of when I go for my U.S. citizenship, and I'm going to have to provide them with a record of entry, or they be able to pull it up for me?
Well, you just write it down if you forgot, because you got to fill out on the form. So you fill it out to the best of your recollection. But they'll have records.
Understood.
All right.
Understood. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Bye-bye.
Let's go to Aiken in Newport, Rhode Island. Aiken.
Hi, Bert.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
I do.
Yeah, my name is Akin from Rhode Island.
What's going
I
on?
recently got my work authorization without a parole. And the other thing is, after I got my work authorization without a parole, I was arrested by the cops for speeding, but it led to driving, attempting to drive under the influence.
Okay. And your
So
question is
now
what?
I have a deportation case in October, and I have a DUI case before the immigration.
What you have a deportation case because of this arrest?
No.
Why
The
were you
deportation was for my first marriage, my abusive wife, who withdrew my application at the interview. On the
All right.
second interview,
so
she
you
withdrew
have
my
issues. You
application.
got arrested for DUI and you're in deportation. Have you filed a VAWA case?
I have a VAWA case. That was what gave me my work authorization.
Okay. And so as long as you have a pending VAWA case, the judge is going to postpone your removal hearing until the resolution of your VAWA case. Your VAWA case is not going to be resolved until the resolution of your DUI case. Hopefully the DUI case is a one-time event only. Hopefully it gets pled down to something different and it does not affect your good moral character in order to get your VAWA case approved.
Yes. But now, deportation of VAWA, which one comes first?
I just
Or
finished
likely
telling
to
you
come
what was
first?
going to happen. I'll say it again.
Yes,
You're going to
thank
go
you.
to an immigration judge. You're going to tell the immigration judge, I have a VAWA case pending. Here's proof. The immigration judge is going to say, okay, come back in a year, tell me what happened with the VAWA case. Your VAWA case will still continue pending while the immigration judge postpones your deportation. In order to get your VAWA case approved, you have to show good moral character. You have to show it was a valid marriage and your wife was abusive. Let's assume you can prove it, she was abusive. Let's assume you can prove it was a real marriage. Your only issue is good moral character. They can't decide good moral character until they see the resolution of this DUI case. As I said, I hope the DUI case gets pled down to something that doesn't have an implication on your good moral character. So, your removal is going to be postponed pending the VAWA case. The VAWA case is going to be postponed pending the DUI case. It's like a deck of cards.
But right now, is it possible? Hello?
Is it possible
Hello?
for what? Lots of
Yeah,
things
is
are
it
possible.
is it possible I get a traveling document in between all these events?
No, you're not going to travel right now with a pending removal case and a pending DUI case. You out of your mind? Stop drinking. Hold on. I'm serious, man. You serious? Yo-Yo's laughing because I'm like, come on, man. You can't be traveling with an order of removal with a DUI pending. David in Somerset, New Jersey.
Hello, hi, Mr. Bond.
How are you?
Very well. I just concluded my interview last month in June, adjustment of status, and two things happened during the interview. And I got the I-130 approved, and the I-485 is still being reviewed.
Okay.
So two things happened during the interview. One was my wife is pregnant and due this month, so they said they're going to request for a birth certificate in my second interview. I don't know when. And the second one that happened was they said they have an issue with my birth certificate, and they saw my middle name, and they need to go verify if the birth certificate is genuine. They said they don't know if that birth certificate, they accept that kind of birth certificate from my home country. So I gave them a notarized copy. I did, but they said they still need to go and do a double check. So it's still been pending. Now it's more than 1 month. So what I'm calling now is because she said it's going to be approved, and in less than 2 weeks I should get my green card. But now it's more than 1 month. But the issue now is my marriage is kind of like falling apart, and I'm trying to like walk away from the marriage. It's in a fiasco now.
Well, try to stay together. You're having children with your wife. Okay, if they're going to verify, a birth certificate. Wait, are you from Africa?
Yes, and that's the issue with the marriage.
If they're going to just 1 second. If they're going to verify a birth certificate from Africa, it's not going to be 2 weeks. It's going to be over a year by the time they verify it.
No, the child is not. We've not given birth. She's due here in America. My wife is a U.S. citizen. She's due next month.
I understand that. It's your child, I assume, right?
It's supposed to be my child, but I just found out something happened, and I'm just in a fiasco. Like, I just want to walk out from it.
Well, I think you need a consultation if immigration is questioning your birth certificate and you're questioning whether your wife is pregnant with your child.
But the 130 was approved. The 485 is still pending. What does that mean?
Means that they believe it's a real marriage, but they don't know whether or not they should adjust your status because you haven't been able to prove you are who you are.
Oh. Okay, so it has to do with the birth certificate of my own personal birth certificate.
That's what it sounds like to me. But I hope immigration's not listening to this, because this is not a private one-on-one conversation. And if they put you together with you, and you just admitted that this child that your wife's pregnant with is not yours.
I'm suspecting.
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
I think you need a consultation. Hold on. Let's go to Tina in Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for picking my call.
My pleasure.
Yeah. My question is, I applied for U visa, and that is up to 3 years now.
Right.
And yeah, it's 3 years now. So I saw something on the internet that that the policy says we should go get a work permit.
Correct.
So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to apply for work permit again?
No, you're supposed to wait for them to bring out the regulations, which hopefully will be soon, and then you're going to do it. Okay. Because you're going to have to do it under a different section of law. So we're waiting for the regulations to come out, but it'll come out soon.
Okay. Because my lawyer called me and she was like, I should get $800 to refile and all that. And I've been hearing that I'm not supposed to refile the work permit again. And she hasn't been giving me some updates, which I kind of needed.
Nobody knows what the rule is yet. We know it's going to happen. They just haven't come out with the specifics. So just don't give her any money. Don't do nothing. Wait for the rule to come out, and then we'll figure it out. Because nobody knows yet.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I'm going to call again for consultation.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trying to see how I can transfer my case.
You are the captain of your boat, which means you can choose whoever your lawyer is at any time.
Okay.
So hold on one
So
second.
who do I call? Who do I call
I'm going to put the same number you called to our show is the number to my office, but hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's go to April in Des Plaines, Illinois. Des Plaines. April.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. I applied for adjustment of status of I-485, but I came here as tourist visa, and that I am a nurse now before COVID, and now that I just got my denial notice.
Why'd you get a denial notice?
It was more than 182 days before I filed. Then I filed my 485.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, can I still get a chance to reapply again?
Well, it sounds like to me that you came on a tourist visa, you got sponsored as a registered nurse. In order to adjust your status under what's called Section 245K, through an employment case, which is probably what you tried to do, you can still adjust within 180 days of overstaying. It has to be less than 180 days. So if your application went in more than 180 days, immigration's correct. So either they're factually wrong and it went in before 180 days, or we got to figure out another way. You were not eligible to adjust your status.
Oh, okay. So there's no other way anymore for me to reapply?
I don't know about that. I'm just telling you under 245K, you can't if it was more than 180 days.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, hold on one second. Okay. She needs help. And by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, you can always follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. If you follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein, drop me a DM. I will try to answer your question as best as I can. You can also follow us at Bradshaw Live. You don't like 2 hours of me, but you can handle 30 seconds. You don't like 2 hours of Yo-Yo, but you can handle a minute of him. You don't like 2 hours of Vanessa, but you like 5 minutes of her. Watch at Bradshaw Live on Instagram. And of course, you can also follow us on TikTok, our fastest growing social media platform. Watch our best immigration questions on TikTok at Bradshaw Live. And Jonathan and Vanessa, what do you got?
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And later in the show, we are going to attend the Gullah Geechee chef and cookbook author Charlotte Ascue Jenkins' 4th of July family barbecue in South Carolina.
And now, a New York Fire Department lieutenant and first Asian American female firefighter, Serena Sristakul, tells us the #1 change she would like to see in U.S. immigration reform. Now, everybody in the comments, we want to know exactly what you feel as well, because I'm going to be reading them out loud, all right? Check it out.
What is the #1 change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
The most pressing would be the refugee cap, and that it's just such a international crime to not allow refugees into this country. That's what this country was founded on. People are fleeing for their lives, and there should be just an open door policy for refugees.
All right, you got questions, you got issues, you got problems. We're going to read them all in our social media check-in. What do we got, guys?
Absolutely. Our first one comes from Don Hamilton, Brad Squad VIP member, saying, after receiving a work permit, what if I can only get gainful employment in a state different from where I reside? Can I coordinate that for at least 4 days per week?
You can go work anywhere you want in the United States with a work permit. That's a separate issue from will you get a green card through your adjustment, because it depends on how you're getting your adjustment. But you can go work anywhere. You can work in all 50 states.
Crystal Perry, another Brad Squad VIP member, is a case creation letter the same thing as a welcome letter?
Perhaps, yes. I don't know what they're talking about.
All right. Kat Haynes, Brad Squad VIP member. What is your advice for immigrants applying for New York rental assistance and also applying for funds for undocumented workers?
Any funds for undocumented workers, go for it. New York rental assistance, as long as it's not Section 8, go for it.
Lady K. Charles, another Brad Squad VIP member. What are your thoughts on the B2 visa extension currently, and when should I apply for the extension?
You apply well before your time is up. Make sure immigration gets your extension notice before your 6 months is up. That's when you do it. You do it on an I-539. It sometimes takes more than 6 months to get an answer. You have to leave the United States or file another extension that's 6 months, even if you haven't gotten an answer yet.
Zach Latif Rahman, Brad Squad VIP member. My friend has a pending I-130 and USCIS asked for RFE, for proof of bona fide marriage. He's out of status and his wife is a legal permanent resident. They both live together. However, she can't add him on joint leases and other documents because his passport is expired. What should they do?
Prove that you live together and have a financial relationship. That's no excuse. You need a consultation.
Terry Faith on Facebook. If my friend has a catering business, could she possibly sponsor me, even if I've overstayed on my visitor visa for over 5 years?
Maybe, but it depends whether you're 245I or eligible for a provisional waiver.
Elizabeth Francis, Facebook. If someone's visa was revoked and that person has now married a U.S. citizen, will that be a problem if he files for her now? It's been 5 years since her visa was revoked.
It depends why it was revoked.
Julia Munez on YouTube. I came to the U.S. in 1967 with my mother and military stepfather. I'm 59 years old now. I'm divorced and have American-born kids and grandkids. Will I have a problem if I apply for citizenship?
Wait, she got what? Tell me again.
Okay, so she came to the U.S. in 1967 with her mother and military stepfather. I'm 59 years old. I'm divorced and have American-born kids and grandkids. Will I have a problem if I apply?
But I don't know. Does she have a green card?
She's not.
Well, if she has, I don't know why she thinks she has a problem becoming a citizen unless she doesn't have a green card. But if she doesn't have a green card and she came here in 1967, she would be eligible for something called registry. Let's assume she's undocumented. If she's undocumented and she came here in 1967, she should apply for something called registry. Registry is an old form of amnesty that if you were here in the United States physically from January 1st, 1973 to the present, you are eligible for a green card. There's very few people left in the United States, I would believe, who have lived here since the 60s undocumented. But if you are one of them, let's get you this registry. It's an old form of amnesty. As a matter of fact, years ago, they said the easiest way to make an amnesty for people was change the registry date, because registry is already on the books. If you were physically here since January 1st, 73, and you can prove you've been here every year, you're eligible to adjust. So always the thought was just change the date, make it January 1st, 2003, make it January 1st, 2013. Just change the registry date. That would be the simplest way, actually, if Biden wants to make an amnesty, to do it. He made it something extraordinarily complicated. But that would be the simplest way, just change the registry date. If you already have a green card, I don't know why you think you can't become a citizen. So that's my answer.
Naked Wire on Facebook. I applied for my N400 on April 15th, 2020, and have yet to hear anything from USCIS. What should I do?
What did he file for in 2020?
N400.
It's been over a year?
April 15th, yes.
He should talk to us about a potential threat of mandamus.
Edwards Moore on YouTube. NBC rejected one of my documents and I have since resubmitted it. It's been 1 month now and I'm still waiting. What should I do?
Wait. It's only a month. Wait.
Jade Cienfuguez on YouTube. My husband's I-130 was approved and his asylum is pending in court. Should we do an adjustment of status in court or ask to terminate his asylum? He entered on a visa and his hearing is next year.
You should file a motion to recalendar, to have a master calendar and adjust your status in court. You can't adjust your status before USCIS because he's already in removal.
Ibrahim Kamar on YouTube. If my VAWA case was approved, can I apply for a work permit abroad?
You can't get a work permit abroad with a VAWA case. Your VAWA approval has nothing to do with getting a work permit for the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, or any other country.
Fiona K on YouTube. My U.S. citizen son filed my I-485 for me in July 2019. I had my interview in August 2019. I've yet to receive any feedback besides that my case is still under review. So far, I only got a work permit. What can I do to move things along with my case?
Well, you can make a threat of a mandamus, which generally works. But before you do that, let's make sure there's no problems with your case.
Kimberlyn Burris on YouTube. Is it normal to receive the I-693 deficiency notice before my biometrics appointment?
Yes, just bring the medical to the interview.
And Freddie Torres on YouTube. How long is I-601 a waiver approval taking right now?
Over a year.
Okay, Axel Lawson on YouTube. I have an approval notice for my green card. Can I use it to get a job? If not, what can I do to get my green card faster? Does a job offer help to get an info pass appointment?
A job offer does not get you an InfoPass appointment. Scheduling an InfoPass appointment gets you an InfoPass appointment. Getting a work permit with a job offer does not make your work permit go faster. Having a job that you are potentially about to lose could possibly make your work permit go faster.
Susu on YouTube, I have my work permit but no travel documents. Can I get the travel documents when I renew my work permit?
Yes, apply for an I-131. And you don't even have to wait to renew your work permit. Just do it now. You'll get a separate travel document.
Neptune Pierre on YouTube, if USCIS says my case is being actively reviewed, what does that mean?
It means it's being actively reviewed.
Actively reviewed.
You know, what color is George Washington's white horse?
Green.
Green.
It's being reviewed actively.
Yes, it means it is being actively reviewed. It's actively being reviewed.
All right, Harry Pawan on YouTube. My wife and I both attended the interview for my I-130. The officer denied my case, and then for my I-485, we both attended the interview. They denied my case because some of my answers didn't match my wife's answers, and my wife has a short memory disability problem, and she can't remember things. I told the immigration officer she has a problem, and I showed the doctor's letter saying that she had the disability. The officer did not listen, and he thought we had fraudulent marriage. I don't know if the officer ignored my wife's doctor report, and I don't know what I can do now.
Well, it sounds like your officer ignored the doctor report. I don't know what the doctor report said, but you should have been with an attorney. So your officer didn't violate your rights. Refile again, quickly, with a good attorney. That's what to do. I didn't answer the question.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Yes, the answer.
Naboo Ange on YouTube. I'm a T visa recipient. Next year, I'm adjusting to LPR. What should I do to apply? Do I need to contact the police or the certifying agency to follow up with the case if they didn't contact me?
This is T as in Tom?
T as in Tom, yep.
You don't have to contact the agency. You already got the T visa. T visa is somebody who was smuggled into the United States for servitude, indentured servitude, slavery, prostitution, something like that, or similar vein. After you get the T visa, you have it for 3 years. The fact that you've been living in the United States for 3 years with the T visa, just file the adjustment.
Tally Cherry on YouTube. What is the processing time for a work permit?
6 months. 2 more.
Diama Koara on YouTube. What do I need to file a fiance visa? I'm a U.S. citizen and my fiance is in Africa. He is 10 years younger than me.
An I-129 F application, that's what the form is, and you prove that you are free to marry, you're a U.S. citizen, and you intend to marry him within 90 days, because either here's a letter from your pastor or a religious individual who's going to be marrying you, or you can just write your own affidavit saying we intend to go down to City Hall, along with proof that you've actually met this person and you're in a relationship with him. 10 years is not the end of the world. It's not. You could still be in love with someone 10 years younger.
And then last one, Kadeen Adekoya on Facebook. What evidence can I take to my marriage-based interview while I'm still waiting on my work permit?
Proof you live with your spouse and you have a financial relationship.
Yeah.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Now the Gulagichi
Yes.
hail from Sierra Leone.
Gullah Geechee.
I can't pronounce it right.
Like Gullah Island.
Gullah Island. The Gullah Geechee hail from Sierra Leone in West Africa. After the African diaspora, many migrated to the American South. We are graciously invited to Charlotte Ascue Jenkins' 4th of July family barbecue in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Charlotte is a former restaurant owner. She does catering and is the author of the cookbook, Gullah Geechee, Gullah Cuisine, by Land and by Sea. And she showed us what Gullah culture and cuisine is all about. Let's watch.
come on down to 10 Mile Ondo and have some Gullah food. Me and my family, we're having a nice little picnic, and we're going to have barbecued pork, barbecued chicken, potato salad, collard greens. And this is how we Gullah people do it in the Gullah style. The Gullah people migrated from Sierra Leone. And so this is what it's all about today. We call it a little gathering, a family gathering.
Now the Gulagichi Heritage, which came from our ancestors, the Africans who came over who were rice growers from the west coast of Africa, they were the ones who were responsible for actually the economic development of the United States of America. They actually started growing rice just for survival, and the British discovered that they knew how to grow rice, which immediately gave a big economic boom to the beginning of the United States. And actually South Carolina was the wealthiest state in the United States due to rice production.
My father built this house from scratch. I was born here, delivered by a midwife. When my mother got in labor with all her kids, she would call her. We didn't have a whole lot of yard space here because we had our little farm. This whole area out here where we would plant tomato, cucumber, corn, string beans, fresh food. The men around in the area, they would go fishing and they would come by, and everything was like really at hand.
When you look at frying fish, you look at red rice, you look at the yams, okay, which are the sweet potatoes. You look at the goobers, which are peanuts. Those are things that describe the African meaning for those particular terms or those particular things.
When they lived on the plantation, they spoke an African type dialect. And then that dialect changed to American dialect. So you would find saying like grits, they would call it humney.
The dialect itself is it's more like are you a benya or come here? As we come here today to feast with the Ascue family and eat and all that, we having a good time, just having a good time with the family here. So that's the way the dialect sounds. If you put it in a romantic sense, more like my brothers and everything down in Jamaica where the ting is right, it's basically the same dialect, it's just a few adjustments.
Well, this Gullah style of cooking was handed down from 3 generations. My grandmother, my mother, and my aunt. I mean, that's how I became a great cook, because I think I'm a great cook. I'm an author of a cookbook. The name of the cookbook is Gullah Cuisine by Land and by Sea. With the collars, I like to use a little smoked meat. That's the Gullah style. We prepare collars with smoked neck bone and ham hock, and sometimes they throw a little pigtails in it. I usually take the greens and I usually turn it like this, and roll it like a little bit, turn it like this, like this. When it's cooked and you serve it, it's more neater. When I grew up, this is the way how we do it, like this. The little tiny stems, we put that in there. My mother always said, all the vitamins are in this pot. This is the spare ribs. We're gonna barbecue this. We're gonna put this on the grill. Before I put it on the grill, once I clean it, then I make a rub. It's garlic, granulated onions, salt and pepper. I like to combine it a little bit and then rub it in. I always do that hand rub, and it seems like it gives the food a little love and it just tastes better. It's good to do it overnight so the seasoning can go through it. Barbecue sauce I make from scratch. Mike, come here a minute. Put your finger, taste that sauce. This is my homemade sauce. This is the sauce going on the chicken. I should have been out here supervising. And we're also going to have fresh whiting fish with heads on. This is the fish I grew up on, which we got it from the river, which is not too far from this little area. My first meal that I prepared was liver and onions. And my older brother told my mom, said, "Mom, you don't have to rush back," because Charlotte made a delicious meal. And that kind of made me feel so proud. So I was cooking ever since that. This is fresh corn that has been shucked. I like to boil it, but this is a nice little secret. I put a little milk and water and a little salt. I'm serving Gullah potato salad. And what I do is I use celery, and I chop the celery up fine. And then once I chop the celery up, I do green pepper, chop that up, and boil eggs. And I chop that up, set it aside, and mayonnaise. I like to use Hellman, but the one I made today is with Hellman. And I always use sweet salad cube pickles. This is how it looks. This is Gullah style. This is how my grandmama made it, my aunt, my mama, now me.
We see the Gullah Geechee culture as a culture rich with being inventive as far as economic development, social development, and also educational development. Because when we couldn't read or write, because it was against the law, we told things in story form. And as telling things in story form, there were hidden lessons in each story. So therefore, you not only had the stories of the telling of your history, but you also had the food and celebration. And the food just was a variety from all over. And when you look at even the housing, because a lot of us, you look at us as being slaves, but we are also craftsmen. We were bricklayers, we were artists and what have you. The music, of course, folks know that the music, particularly gospel and jazz and all that, has that African overtone, which all started here on the East Coast, then migrated throughout the country.
All right, we have 50 more seconds and 9 more immigration questions to end the show.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Start off the week right.
We already started off the week right yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a day off.
Let's continue
with our day at work.
Yes.
Continuing the week.
Right.
All right.
Vanessa, you there? You ready?
I'm ready to go, Brad.
Let's do it.
Make it snappy.
Okay, you make it snappy.
All right. What form do I use to file for student visa?
I-539.
Can I use an SB1 visa to re-enter the U.S.?
Yes.
Can I file the I-130 for myself if I'm under 18 with no income?
How?
What's the best way for an Australian teen to move to NYC?
Hire a lawyer.
Can I change status on a visitor's visa?
Yes.
Can I renew my F1 if I'm married to a citizen?
Yes.
How long is the perm approval time?
At least 6-9 months. The longest time is the actual prevailing wage.
Is it possible to get a green card on an E2 visa?
Yes.
How long does the I-765 take after biometrics?
Weeks, months, it depends.
There we go.
That was
it.
That's 9.
It. That's 9. She's trying to go more.
Yeah, well, you trying to do 10 in 50 seconds? We did 9 in 50 seconds. Oh, everyone's so happy. Now, E2 visa is an investor visa. So you can get a green card because you're going to invest $1 million in a business, or perhaps your spouse is going to get sponsored. A lot of times what happens is somebody comes on the E2 visa, the spouse gets sponsored in a job because they're allowed to legally work as well. And then an Australian team to come to America. What kind of team? Well, I don't even know what this team is. It's a team of kangaroos, a team of people.
An Australian teen.
A teen. I thought you said a team.
I'm
like, what kind of team is coming here?
That's why I was going to go into 10 questions because I wasn't sure.
I don't even know an Australian teen. Yes, an Australian. Why not? So can a Belgian teen. So can a Jamaican teen. Depends on what their situation is.
Well, we got it.
We got it, though. All right. We did it. Comments of the day.
All right. First comment comment of the day, Gowie Maxine saying, I'm off today and couldn't wait for my favorite evening entertainment and educational show to start. Thanks to the best immigration team around. Keep up the good work.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our next comment of the day from one of our VIPs, Sasha Ford, saying changes to the time a person can file their citizenship after receiving permanent residency. Those are the changes she wants to see in immigration.
Yeah, we should make it a little quicker. Why not?
Yes, I agree.
I agree with that.
All right, third comment of the day. We have one from Don Harriet saying, Brad is telling what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
That's right. I say that in my Braducations.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. Okay, and our last Elizabeth Francis saying, Uncle Brad is the best. We callers are very confident and satisfied with Uncle Brad on all our immigration issues. Doesn't matter where we roam, we always come right back home to our immigration guru.
Oh, very nice. I don't know if she was trying to do poetry or just give me a really nice comment.
Right.
Or a little bit of both. So thank you very much, Elizabeth Francis.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. A good start to the week.
Yes.
Tomorrow's hump day.
Yes, it is.
It's humpy. Yes, I was with my family July 4th. They said their favorite day to watch is hump day. I said, Mom, Dad, serious? They're like,
gosh.
yeah, I didn't even know.
That's the day I told my mom not to watch.
I didn't know my mom and dad watch hump day, but apparently they do. So hopefully everyone watches hump day. We'll see you tomorrow. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?